Hello and welcome to the European Football Show. I'm Cara Henderson and I'm delighted today to be joined with our special guest, Kris Commons. Kris, we've got you at your bed nice and early for this one. How are you?
Good, very good, thank you. Good morning.
Yes, we'll get right into it then. We'll start off with Celtic. Brendan Rodgers described it as a good start and a good point. What did you make of their opening game?
Yeah, I thought any away fixture, especially in Europe, is extremely difficult for them to get the point. I thought second half they looked a little bit more fluid than the first half. I think when you've got Dyson up front, it gives you pace, but sometimes in those crucial moments, which I thought certain aspects is a little bit of quality. I think the new signing, he's got off to a great start. 2 goals in 2 games. So ultra confident. I think if we can get Dyson back on the left hand side, it'll give us a little bit more balance. Arguably one of Celtic's best performers last season, and player of the year and everything, and all the accolades that he got. I think if we can get him into his natural position, then you'll see the best of Dyson. But no, Inacho, who's come in, who's hit the ground running, certainly a great positive and a good point away from home.
Do you think Dyson Maeda looks disinterested after everything that happened in the summer transfer window?
No, not at all. I always think he looks a little bit subdued in his facial expressions. Anyway, during the match, I think things have affected him. What's happened off the field, you can see that. Obviously, the result of not making Champions League football kind of emphasises that also with the thought process behind that. But I think all in all, I think if Dyson can get back to his usual position, which is that left hand side, is a real threat, as a goal threat, is a talisman for Celtic, and he needs a top centre forward. He's been used to obviously Kyogo up there, Ida's been there. He's been used to centre forwards that lead the line. It's a completely different kettle of fish when you go from a wide position that you're very comfortable going down the left. You're certainly very comfortable coming in on his right foot. To then lead the line, it's a completely different kettle of fish. I can remember doing it myself when I was at Celtic. I think it was Dundee away. And I had to lead the line then. And it was just, not my natural game, looking at centre halves, holding the ball up, being a threat in behind. I think my game was down to picking little areas, getting in pockets, being on the half turn, linking up with players that were more advanced than me. And I think Dyson, that's not his natural game. I think his game is coming to feet, driving at defenders, and then being that in behind threat in wide areas. So I think if Brendan Rodgers can get Inacho up to speed in that central forward position, then Dyson Maeda will be a lot more comfortable on the left and be more of a threat.
Should Celtic move him on in January if they get a good bid?
No. I think he's a terrific player. I'd be looking to build in and around Dyson. I think what he's shown last season was that you can rely on him, you can trust him. He'll probably still be giving James Tavernier, nightmares. The games that he played against him. So I think if you've got a wide man that's capable of scoring close to in between, I would always say in between 20 and 30 goals every season, then it's a huge asset. You just then need to add goals that come from midfield, and also you need a striker that can get you 20, 30 goals a season. I think if you've got that mix, that blend, then it will give you a huge opportunity to win trophies on all fronts domestically, and give you a great chance of doing something special in Europe. So Dyson, he would not be on my, it wouldn't be on my scrap of paper wanting to leave. But I think what Brendan Rodgers has always said and always stood by, if there's any player in that dressing room that wants to leave, then they're free to go.
Absolutely. Well, there was two stars of the show, Colby Donovan and Iheanacho, when he came on. What did you make of their performances?
Super, yeah. And actually, you can tell that he's a real natural goal scorer. I think he had that one opportunity where he got in there and made the keeper pay. I think the confidence of scoring such a late goal at Kilmarnock away the other week would have obviously given him a huge amount of confidence. He knows the manager there, so it's just about bringing the best out of him. If he's the one to lead the line and he hits the ground running as he has done, then I think it will be a great mix, a great blend. He brings huge amount of experience, Premier League experience. So top player, good player, lead the line, and then if you can get everyone fit and up to speed in and around him, then I think he'll make that transition very, very faultless.
It's been quite the summer for Brendan Rodgers. Do you see him staying past this season?
That's a good question. I think Brendan will always want to improve. I think if he may have said this before, maybe just said it personally, but if you're not improving, then you're standing still. If you're standing still, then others around you will be improving. So it's about improvement. It's about the 3-5 year plan that he always has in the back of his mind of where he wants to be, what he wants to do as a club and personally. I think he will want to have a good crack at Europe. I think also that the 3 cups domestically will be on his mind as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do go from this point up to January, and then concentrate on recruitments and people that are going to make the squad better. I think if they are having a real good crack at Europe, then January's transfer window could be pivotal to their success, because I think if they do get it right, then Celtic certainly are one of the clubs that could go the distance in this competition.
Can you see the Celtic fans winning their battle for change in the boardroom?
So winning their battle. I don't think for one moment that the people in behind the scenes and the hierarchy at Celtic aren't doing everything they can in their power to try and get quality through the door. I don't think they're resting on any sort of morals where they're just going to try and take it lightly. They will be identifying suspects and personnel to come in to improve Celtic. It hasn't been the greatest of transfer windows, but I believe now with the fans' pressure and certainly the discontent, that it will amplify the recruitment. I think they will go out there and try and make a statement and make up for what felt like a very disappointing transfer window. So yeah, I do believe that they'll be working tirelessly now between now and January to identify targets, to get deals done, and hopefully get people through the door earlier rather than trying to scrape around in the last 24 hours looking for personnel to bring in.
Yeah, and just finally on Celtic, they've got Braga and Sturm Graz up next. You mentioned it, but do you think there's a real opportunity for Celtic to go far in the Europa League this season?
Yeah, I think with the signing of Inacio coming in, I think if he can stay fit, then you've got a real top centre forward. Get Dyson back on the left-hand side. You've still got huge amounts of quality and experience in that squad. So if they do get it right and confidence is high and they are scoring goals in Europe, then they've got a huge opportunity. They've shown it previously that they've got more than enough to go away from home and get results. So yeah, I think the away results, like we said earlier in the conversation, a point away from home is superb. The home games now will be pivotal, and if they can get maximum points, then I don't see why not come into the new year that Celtic will be in and around and a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, moving on to Rangers now. Then it was Rangers 0, Genk 1. A pretty busy first half for the ref, especially. Do you think Rangers should have had a penalty?
I think if you see any sort of Premier League VAR, then I think the penalty is given. I think the push is slight, it's harsh, but I thought the penalty would have been a little bit harsh. But in today's ruling, Ali McCoist was on co-coms and he was adamant there was going to be a penalty in today's how the referee see it, how VAR see it. But I think he also had a sympathy with how harsh it would have been. So it is a grey area. Obviously, the referee made the decision that it was a push. You have to move on from that. But I think then the events of the next 45 minutes then kind of, the sending off and then the penalty against, it all felt as if it was going against Rangers and Russell Martin, which seems to be the trend at the moment.
Yeah, and what were your thoughts on Genk's penalty? I thought it was a penalty.
Yeah, I think in real speed it looks very, very harsh. I think when you slow it down, you show the minimal contact. When you are running at that speed and you get a slight touch, then yeah, it is a penalty. I don't think James Tavernier did anything wrong in the aspect that he's looking to try and bring down the man. It was just unfortunate for himself. But again, the drama of the save and everything that went on with that, you'd think that Rangers would get in at half time and try and get through the game without conceding, but no, it seems like everything that Rangers do, it doesn't work out well at the moment.
And the last piece of drama, any arguments with the red card?
No, none at all. I think if looking back, especially at the slow motion, the boy's looking not to break a leg. I think when you're coming in at that speed with that angle, the studs on the shin, it was, no, it doesn't matter what sort of contact you get beforehand. If you get a little touch on the ball and you carry on through and nearly, end the boy's season just with that tackle, it was, very reckless. It was, ticked all the boxes of a red card. It was fast. It was out of control. It was high. It was studs on a shin bone. So rightly seen red.
Yeah, and obviously they couldn't see the game through. Another defeat for Russell Martin. It's not been the best of starts, more boos at the end. What is next for Russell Martin in your opinion? Do you think he is a dead man walking?
He's going to do something special to turn the supporters. I think once you've lost the supporters, it's extremely difficult to then get any sort of momentum in your favour. I think what's been going on behind the scenes has certainly heightened the discontent within the Rangers supporters. I think James Tavernier, the obviously talisman captain, who's been there for a huge amount of time, that knows the club inside out. With him being in and out the squad, you've got the Raskin kind of debate that's been going on. Why is he not playing? Arguably Rangers' best player last year. Was he going? Was he not? And then obviously results. I think when you look at the results that's gone their way, and listen, Rangers should be winning week in, week out. There's no getting away from that. If you're second, you might as well be last in Glasgow. That's the way they look at it. So he's losing games that he should be winning. They're performing at a really low standard. And it looks to me, certainly watching him, I know he wants to play out from the back, and I know he's got his morals and his philosophy, and we play this way, but they look uncomfortable. Now, Russell Martin will say that's a mental thing. It's from fear of making mistakes, or fear of letting the supporters down. But ultimately, when you're low on confidence and you're playing a style that you're not comfortable with, mistakes will happen. And I think a lot of teams that they should be beating are taking advantage of that, and it's putting Rangers and Russell Martin in a very, very sticky situation.
I'm interested from a player's perspective, having a manager, I don't know if you've ever went through this, having a manager that's under so much pressure, fans, so against him, wanting him out the door, him falling out with players within the dressing room. Can you quite imagine what it must be like to be a Rangers player in that dressing room at the moment?
Falling out with managers and players is part and parcel of football. You'll have bust-ups on the training field, you'll have bust-ups in meetings, you'll have, in football matches, you'll be arguing with each other. But the goal is for you to give your maximum for the team. You're not arguing because you don't like someone. Not everyone's going to get along in that dressing room with everyone else. But what you do know is when you cross that white line, you've got a due diligence. You've got a job to do. You've got a duty for your fellow professionals and teammates to go and put a performance in and perform at a standard that is going to give you the best opportunity to win. So the discontent within the dressing room, the fans being on the backs, that comes part and parcel of not performing and not playing well. Now, you're either going to be a man or a mash. You either have to stand up to that and, lift your head high and put your shoulders back and roll your sleeves up and dig out results, or you end up being that kind of guy that you want to pass the buck. You're waiting for more experienced players. You're waiting for players to do their jobs rather than, taking the shirt by yourself and being that guy. So I think for Russell Martin now, he needs to look around experience. He needs to look around at his dressing room at potential players that are going to do that and sacrifice maybe a part of the game that enhances other people around them. But at the moment, like I said earlier, everything that they seem to do seems to be a negative. It's not a positive at all.
He's travelling to Livingston at the weekend as well. I mean, it doesn't really get much easier. Everyone knows the plastic pitch and just how David Martindale sets his side up. Is it a must-win?
Without a shadow of that, yeah. He has to win. He has to win, and if he doesn't win, I do expect him to go there and get a result, but if he doesn't win, it's just more and more pressure that goes on Russell Martin, and it's not so much the winning side of things, it's the level of performances that's the worrying side for a Rangers perspective. I mean, for me, watching the game last night, they were playing out from the back, but they never look comfortable. I always feel as if they've got a mistake in them. They always look as if they're like I said, passing the book and hoping that someone else will do good things. And even when they do get into the middle third, towards the final third, it's nothing that they've done brilliantly between goalkeeper and centre halves. It's just they've managed to play through. Now, listen, Rangers were doing that last season. There's nothing in that side that makes me feel as if Russell Martin's got a grasp of this team that's making it completely different. This is a Russell Martin team. You can tell it's just not quite right.
Absolutely. Just to finish off then and sort of tie the Celtic and Rangers side of things, do you think they've found their level at the Europa League? It's a debate that we have. I mean, obviously, both teams would much rather be in the Champions League, but does the Europa League give them both an opportunity to try and see how far they get? We saw it with Rangers a few seasons ago.
That's right. Well, Rangers got to the final in Seville, didn't they? 3 years ago, I think. So they have got potential, both teams, if they can get it right. Rangers this season, I'll be very, very surprised if they get anywhere near it. They just look like they're miles off it at the moment. So I'll be very surprised with that. But as I said earlier, I think Celtic, they must be eyeing this up of potentially going into the latter stages of this competition. I think any team coming to Celtic will fear the game, fear the result, and going away again. They've proved that they're more than capable of getting a result. I think there were a few obviously different personnel changes, but when they played away at Bayern Munich, Atalanta, I thought they were superb. So, yeah, they've got a lot of confidence that they can draw upon and experience that when they are away, they've got certain styles that they can adopt and change and different personnel they can play in different positions where they can go and grind a result out. And then hopefully the home games at Celtic Park will take care of themselves.
Yeah, well, we'll move on to an ex-Celtic manager and the manager that won the Europa League last season. Ange Postecoglou is now at Nottingham Forest. I mean, we all know the type of football Ange Postecoglou likes to play. Do you think Nottingham Forest are now in for a good shot of winning the competition as well?
They'll be there or thereabouts. There's no question about that. I think Ange's obviously gone into the squad. Didn't get off to the greatest of starts. Obviously, lost against Arsenal, which is Arsenal are going to be challenging for all trophies on all fronts this season. And then the defeat to Swansea would have been hurt, especially being 2 goals up. So that'll be a bit of a wake up call. But yeah, going away, going 1-0 down. They obviously then shown a little bit of resilience. Got back to 2-1. I know they conceded a bit late on with Anthony, but they will be there in and around that. I think Ange has brought in a bit more of a free flowing. Even so early, you can tell that Ange has obviously been in there and had a meeting of how he wants to play, how he wants to implement it. I heard a gentleman on TalkSport the other day who's a Nottingham Forest supporter just saying that the first half was kind of eye-opening of the drastic change that's taken place so far in such a short period of time. So yeah, there's optimism there. They've definitely got a good squad. They've shown that they're more than capable on the day of pushing anyone right to the limit. So they'll have eyes on that, definitely.
And finally, Aston Villa, not been a great start to the season. They've been struggling for goals. Unai Emery has a habit of winning these types of tournaments, though. Again, just I suppose what your thoughts on them are.
They'll come good. I think it's just a matter of time before obviously the goals start flying in and confidence gets high. But yeah, they got off to a slow start, but they've got an extremely experienced manager in there that he not be panicking about the start. I know they're in the bottom 3 at the moment in the Premier League, but I think European competitions that they've shown previously as well, they wasn't far off beating Paris Saint-Germain at Villa Park. I think that was that last year. So they've got bags of quality, a great experienced manager, and a competition that they will have eyes on, no doubt, to go all the way.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it'll be an interesting tournament for both Scottish sides and English sides. Kris, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's been brilliant chatting to you. And thank you so much for watching. You can get all our content on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. And of course, there's PLZ Premium as well, so you should make sure you check that out.